This week, Parshas Bo is Yitzias Mitzrayim. K'mei Tzeis Chameres Mitzrayim Eren Nefalois, right? The Gula Asida will be very similar to Yitzias Mitzrayim in certain ways. In other ways, it'll be very different. Yeah. So I want to speak about. There's a number of topics to speak, but one fundamental difference the Chassidus always speaks about, famous Hemshech V'Kocha, speaks a lot about it in other places, is that one fundamental difference is they see us Mitzrayim, the Jewish people left in a hurry, in a haste. They had to run away. By the Gula Asida it says, you're not going to run, you're not going to go in a hurry. Why? The Pasuk says, the Pasuk in Yeshaya Kapitel and Beis, because the Eibush is going in front of you. So, the Maimorim that speak about this, they bring a few different midrashim which basically highlight a few different aspects. Medrash actually brings an interesting mashal. It says there's a story of a merchant that went into a hotel. He checked into a hotel, a pundak, and I think early in the morning when it was still night, I forget the exact lashon, he took all his possessions and he left. So the Kretschmer attendant, the hotel attendant, she started screaming. She said, "They stole everything of mine." So, why was it? Because he left at night. So similarly, the Yidden left from Mitzrayim. They took all the gold and silver of the Egyptians, and the Egyptians said he took everything that would belong to us. And really, it didn't belong to them, because really it belonged to the Yidden, because they worked so hard for them that they earned all the money.
We're not going to go into that.
Well, they didn't say they're taking it, but it technically belonged to them.
The guy from Sweden came to Salamuktim and Kolyum Taylor.
And Gviyabim, they said he took all our gold. So Gviyabim Sia said, the Posha is up to the Hunchback and something. He said, "I'll answer you." He said, "Make a chesh."
He asked for two. For one, he gave him two and go.
He's not telling you, you owe us much more. We took his enough. So they ran away, they didn't come back.
So Chalaifin, so the Eibush says you left Mitzrayim. The Medrash says they left by night. They left during the day, but they got ready to leave by night. And spiritually, the Gula was connected with the level of night. That was also in the sea. So therefore, the Mitzrayim ran after you. They said you took all our stuff and left. They ran after them only by the Yam Suf, when they drowned. We didn't finally free from them. By the Gula Hasida. In the future, this is not going to happen anymore. You're not going to rush. You won't be in the haste. You won't have to run away. It'll be open. Everyone will know that, this is what it is. So, there's a few other medrashim. One, there's a famous medrash that says, I didn't tell the Eibishter, that we went into our first Golus in Mitzrayim. Who redeemed us, Moshe and Aaron. It lasted, but we went back into Golus Bavel. Who took us out of Golus Bavel? You had Chananim, Shalazai, Ezra. Then they went into Golus Yavan, and you had Mordechai and Esther, whoever it was. They said we had a Golus and a Gula, but the Gula didn't last. So it brings a mashal of a guy that it's the middle of the night. He's trying to light a candle, and it lasts a little bit. Then the wind goes out. Then it goes out again. He tries again. Until finally he says, "What am I wasting my time trying to light the candle? I'll wait for the sunlight to come." So it says, similarly, you didn't tell the Eibishter, all the Gulas you sent was through a bus of Adam, was through a human messenger, so they didn't last. But the future redemption, we want that the redemption should come straight from you. Others mean it'll come straight from the Eibishter, so Mashiach will be a bus of Adam. But I guess the meaning is that although Mashiach will be human, but he's going to be what's going to be revealed through him is a level that's totally beyond human capacity. So the Eibishter himself. That's also the third Beis Hamikdash is called Binyan Dekodesh Bricha, will be built by the Eibishter.
Which wasn't by Moshe Rabbeinu.
No.
Not by Mashiach, it's an anders than Moshe Rabbeinu.
Yeah, will be, some places said it will be built through Mashiach, so Slav Dafka is stira, but that's a separate discussion. So, another Medrash says, that Eibishter says that when you left Mitzrayim, you left Aniu Veisdini, was me together with my Beis Din. It wasn't me myself. So therefore the Gula wasn't permanent. But in the future, I myself will go in front of you. So basically, the Nekuda Chassidus says is like this. And this is in Tanya Perek Lamed Aleph. Chassidus says this many times. That the Gula of Yetzias Mitzrayim, the bad, the evil, was still in the world, and in the Neshamas of the Eden, which is maybe more important to us, was still B'Takva, was still in its full strength. They would have stayed an extra second in Mitzrayim, they would have been totally sunk into the 50th gate of Tumah, they wouldn't have been able to come out. So they had to run away. The avoid of Sur Mirar, turning away from evil, means you have to run away from evil. The idea you're escaping. So this is why since by Yetzias Mitzrayim the world itself wasn't refined yet, the Yidden weren't refined, so they had to run away. Like that Rebbe explains in Tanya, Parah had no choice. If the Yidden would have told Parah we're going forever, he wouldn't have. What was he going to do? But the fact that they had to run away wasn't so much as physically they had to run away, but spiritually they had to run away. However, when Mashiach will come, the bad will be taken away from the world. The bad will be taken away from the Yidden. So where are they going to have to run away from? The Gula won't be in the way, you'll be running away. You'll be going out of Golus, but you're not going to be escaping from Golus, right? The darkness will be transformed to light, so it won't be in the way that you're running away. What does this all have to do with the fact that the Gula of Mitzrayim was through a human being, and the future redemption will be through the Eibishter, that the Gula of Mitzrayim was compared to a candle, and the future redemption is compared to sunlight, or the difference between night and day. So the difference in the Eibishter and Beis Dina, the Eibishter himself and his basis, put it in a nutshell, Chassidus says is the Gula of Yetzias Mitzrayim, despite the fact that it was very powerful. We all know the Rebbe Rashab, was saying Haggadah, the Nigla Alei Malach Malachim Lachem HaKadosh Baruch Hu Golam B'Choydei V'Atzmei, right? The Eibishter himself revealed himself upon them. But nevertheless, Chassidus still emphasizes that revelation went through the Midah of Machos. It went through the level of a Malik Laman. Or if you want to use other terms, it was temporary. It wasn't the level that was Bli Shinuyim, that was unchangeable. So it was a great revelation, and it had an effect. The effect lasts until today. Yetzias Mitzrayim, Eden never reverted back to that state they were before Yetzias Mitzrayim. But nevertheless, it didn't refine the world enough on the fundamental way. The Gula Asida will be the Eibishter himself. It means a level which is higher. It's the essence of the Eibishter, which doesn't express itself through the lower levels, Mamalik Kalam, whatever you want to call it, where there's changes, where there's fluctuations. Eibishter himself, there's also the difference between night and day, sun, referring to the Eibishter himself. So since the Gula comes from that level, there's no changes, it comes from the Eibishter himself, there's no changes, the Gula is eternal. Sam Tzavar is also, that it's interesting, the Sikh of the Rebbe in Chelek Lamed Aleph, I think, in Parshas Va'era, the Rebbe explains there in Avodah of a person, how does he know he reached the level of Gula if his Avodah Hashem is without Shinuyim? Golos, a person could be a big tzaddik, but if his avodah could fluctuate, that's not gula. Gula means that it's a revelation of godliness that doesn't change. So if a person is avodah ups and downs, it's still not the level of gula. But anyway, getting back, that's what the Nekuda Chassidus says. So what does this mean? So now, what does this mean? There's a big question that one can ask. We know we're all davening, we say, right, that we want the gula should come in a very quick way, right? Achishana. Says the Gula, so what does it mean that you won't run out of Golos? Isn't the Gula going to happen in hedifying in the way of Achishana? So one of the main explanations here is, the Gula, the things that will lead up to the Gula, in other words, the Gula itself, the oifen of the Gula, the way we'll go out of Golos won't be in the way we'll have to run away from Golos, we'll be escaping. The things that will lead up to the Achishana means that it happens quickly. In other words, before you even see the events unfolding that lead up to it, you go out of Golos. But the Gula itself, and like the Rebbe says, the Hachana, the Rebbe says, you'll also have the Zrizos. But the word here is that the preparation for the Gula, the events that lead up to the Gula will be in a quick way. But the Gula itself we won't be escaping from the world. The world will...
Hit yourself and say, yes, this is the Gula. Real? This is real.
So in Avodah Sa'adam, the Rebbe says that this is the difference between Sur Meira and Asay Tov. Sur Meira, you have to run away from bad. So you're always escaping. Asay Tov means you don't have to deal with, like the difference in the Beinoni and the Tzaddik also. You don't have to deal with evil. You're just going from level to level in Avodah Hashem. There's also one more Nekuda that I saw, I'm sure there's many other Nekudas, one more Nekuda I saw regarding this point, is that when your Avodah Hashem is always in a way of a rush, there's no Hisyat, so a rush sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. It depends on a person. But it says that Chassidim are Yishenim HaYishoyim Sha'achas. Before they used to daven, they used to spend an hour thinking about being Mizboinen and Gadlus Hashem. Then they would daven for an hour, then they would another hour. Spent 9 hours a day davening Shachas Mincha of Torah. So Chassidus is Medayik, there's the word Shoyim. They used to wait. Somebody sits, when somebody's not rushed, he has a siyashos, he's able to reach much deeper levels than when he's always rushing. Even a person who's serving the Eibush is doing good things, but he's running away from bad. So there's a certain hisiyashus that's missing. So when when Lasalav will be loy b'chipozin, they say he won't be rushing. So then you will be able to be a vehicle for higher levels. Despite the fact it's not a stira to the fact Lasalav will also be major jumps, But in other words, they won't be in a rush going out of Golas. Fine. That's one fundamental difference between the Gula Hasid and Gula Tzisraim. In a similar vein to everything that I said before, we also know that before Yetzias Mitzrayim, there were 10 Makkos. What was the point of the Makkos? The point of the Makkos, according to Chassidus, was to break the clip of Mitzrayim. Pari denied Eibish's existence, right? Now, there's many events, different types of events, depending on the situation of the Eden and the world, that are supposed to take place before the Gula Hasidah, right? What is the purpose of those events? Are also in a similar vein to break the Klippa. But the Rebbe emphasizes many times that the ultimate, even if some elements in the world might need to be a phase, might need to be a period where you'll have to fight with it when Mashiach comes. But the ultimate difference is Yetzias Mitzrayim is avodah of Shvira, was breaking Parei, breaking Mitzrayim. The goal wasn't to transform Parei and Mitzrayim. The goal was to break them. We should acknowledge the Eibusher and to get rid of them, to get rid of the Klippa. La'asad Lavai, obviously there'll be certain elements that'll have to be gotten rid of. Amalek will have to be gotten rid of, and so on and so forth. But the ultimate kav, the thrust, the avodah of La'asad Lavai, is tikkun, is not to break, but to fix. Like the famous story of the Tzemach Tzedek. They told him that the Alter Rebbe once got a snuff box, silver snuff box, and what was he going to do with it? He said there's one there's one limited person that doesn't have a taivas, and they also want to stuff him up with taivas. A person who has a taivas, they go and smell whatever. But so what the Alter Rebbe did, the way they told the story in front of the Tzemach Tzedek, the Alter Rebbe broke off the top of the snuff box to use it as a mirror for his tefillin. So Tzemach Tzedek said the story, that detail that the Alter Rebbe broke it off must be wrong, because my grandfather never broke anything. So what he probably did is, it probably was some type of screw or metal piece that connected the cover with the snuff box. So he took out that connecting piece, so he didn't break it. So the Rebbe says that the avodah of Chassidus is not to break the world. You have to take out the connection. You shouldn't be farkocht. You shouldn't be indulged in the world, but not to break. So the Yetzias Mitzrayim, the Rebbe also, it's very interesting. There's a Sikh of the Rebbe. Again, it's a Chiddush of the Rebbe. The Sikh of the Rebbe, famous, the Rebbe discussed a lot of prophecies about that a lot of goyim will be killed when Mashiach will come, right? Whatever it is, a third of the world will be left, a tenth of whatever it is, different prophecies. So the Rebbe asked, how is that possible? The whole, right, the Eibush has mercy, why? So the Rebbe said, a person could say, what do you mean? You see, what do we see going on today? You see, during the time of Golus, how many terrible things happened? So the Rebbe says that's true. But that's up until the time of the Gula Hasidah. The whole idea of the Gula Hasidah is a kav of tikkun, of elevating the world, correcting the world. It's a very interesting look of the Rebbe. So therefore the Rebbe says, all these prophecies which speak about destroying nations, whatever it is, I guess that there's certain things that you have to take it pshuti, but the Rebbe didn't like to interpret literally. The Rebbe gave a whole explanation. Whatever it is, that there'll be spiritual. They're not going to have their. That was one, but then the Rebbe didn't accept that. That was the word the Rebbe said with the Farbrim. Then the Rebbe changed it, that they're going to become bottled. They won't have their own mitzias. That they're not going to be considered if they'll be considered a separate entity or not. So, but the Rebbe said that I think the Rebbe's main problem was with this is that the Gula Hasidah is tikkun, is fixing, not breaking. That the whole idea of Gula Hasidah is good, is elevating the world. So anyway, so similarly, the same way Golus, you see us sometimes you had to run away. The Klippa was b'chol hatekef. So the Hachana that you had to break Parei, but Whatever will the hachanas of the Gula Hasid will be in a way that will elevate the world. There's a few other nekudas. Stam, I mean, just to speak about. It says one of the things you have also then the Pasha Shmois, and you have a few other places. Pasuk says Ki Gershom in Mitzrayim. The Yidden were chased away from Mitzrayim. Who chased Yidden out of Mitzrayim? The Goyim, right? It says, as Rashi said, and then the Pasha is Ki Biot Chazaka Yishal. The Mishpari will force Yidden to go out of Golos. So what does that mean? That means that there were some Yidden that didn't want to go out of Golos, or they were stuck in Golos, and the Goyim had to chase them out. What about losses, Lavai? What about losses, Lavai? Well, the truth is, here again, you have the Rebbe's look. You have the Rebbe said the number of times. The Rebbe spoke a lot about Kibbutz Goliath. The Rebbe would bring the Psukim, how all the nations of the world will help to bring the Yidden. Right? Not that they're going to chase Yidden out of Goliath, right? Because you have in certain Midrashim or Sfarim, right, that the way they lead up to the Gula will be that the Goyim, whatever, I don't want to get into it. He had explosions, and years ago, it was spoken about that the meaning is that the Goyim will chase, like, the way it will lead up to the Gula will be that the Goyim will make the Yidden's life miserable. They have to run away, and that will be the lead up to Gula. You have such even having a Kriya Vaktusha, you have the Oisius Perchas of the Frierdiker Rebbe. Very interesting with the things that he said that will happen, whatever that means, if it's supposed to happen, not supposed to happen. But he has also such a line that the Goyim will force whatever, it's not Negea. But the Rebbe spoke very strongly not like that. The Rebbe did speak sometimes. There was one Sicha Befrat. The Rebbe spoke at a certain Yidden that they're stuck in Golos, and the Rebbe quoted what happened with Yitzias Mitzrayim, that the Mitzrayim chased them out. But the thing they want to focus on more in Avodas Ha'adam is that why do Goyim have to chase Yidden out of Golos? A similar concept was also discussed this in the past. You have some explain what's the idea of Chavli Mashiach. Why does it have to be Chavli Mashiach before Mashiach comes? Vartim Pshat. So one of the explanations is that as long as Yidden still believe that there's some other hope, whether it's the state of Israel or the modern economy, as long as they believe in some type of something that they have a future in, they're not going to be read. They're not. I mean, if you learn about Mashiach, you don't need this. But in other words, certain Jews, certain people, they hope. We have a democracy. We can rely on democracy. We have economy. You can rely for financial stability and economy. You have echveis. So a lot of the simonim of Chavli Mashiach is bringing out. Moshe, you have Ein ben David Bash Atichla Prutim Min Hakis, Ein ben David Bash Atichla Machad Azalam Yisrael. Different simonim which mean that everything will crash, that there won't be any hope that a person will have. So automatically, what is his last hope going to be? Mashiach. I don't have to get there. Obviously, this is.
We're there already.
We're there already. We were there already. But I'm saying, in other words, this idea of chasing Yidden out of Golos means, in other words, that Yidden. What I want to bring out is in a person's avodah, right? Does he have to be chased out of his own Golos or not? In other words, we'll help him with the nunzat avodah. In other words, are we living with Mashiach, or are we we're going to have to one day be woken up and say being told Mashiach is here? So the reason why you have this nekuda that if the Yidden aren't yet ready for Mashiach, so they're going to have to be forced to realize that they need Mashiach. So the Rebbe Taka says, and now, according to that way, it's not going to be in the naifin of loy v'chipazin seitzeyu. Because if Mashiach comes, the Chavli Mashiach, you want to get out of there as soon as you can. It's not a naifin of loy v'chipazin seleichu. The idea of loy v'chipazin seleichu means that the Yidden, in the time when Mashiach will come, they'll be holding there. You won't have to chase them out of Galus. They'll be there on their own. So, again, I'm just mentioning this like Gabi Avodas Ha'adam, that what does it mean to us that we have to, we shouldn't wait for someone to chase us out of our own goals. One more point I wanted to speak about. It's an interesting thing. The Rebbe, it's brought down a few. I think the Rebbe alluded it here and there, but when Yidden left Mitzrayim, they didn't go into Eretz Yisrael right away. They went into a midbar, right? They spent 40 years in the desert. Supposed to spend first only a few months, right? Then to the Chet HaMeraglim, they spent 40 years. Very interesting that in a lot of places it's explained that a similar thing will happen when Mashiach will come. There's different midrashim here, some are not so on the Kav HaToiv, but there's Rabbeinu Bechaye, for example, beginning of Parshas Masei. He says, why does the Torah relate all the stops Yidden made in the Midbar? So he says, because the same way the Yidden, when they left Mitzrayim, they went through the Midbar, the same way when Yidden will leave Golos, they're also going to go through the Midbar. And Eibusher will do all the miracles that he did for them there. He'll do again for them when they'll go out of Golos. Similarly, you have a number of psukim in Yeshaya, I think, according to some Mefarshim, speaks to how Eibusher will make the desert bloom, and he'll make, so there, I think the Radak, or one of the Mefarshim, a lot of other Mefarshim learn it differently. It's a mashal for something. But he says, when Yidden will go out of Golos, they'll go through the Midbar. Now, there's a Yidden on their way from, this is before the time of airplanes and everything. So, Mshat, when they're going to go out, they're going to gather in the Midbar, and the Eibusher they're going to go through the Midbar, at least, and the Eibusher is going to make miracles for them, that water will come out, to make it easier for them to go through, to go on their way to Eretz Yisrael. So, there's a famous pasuk, you probably heard the term Midbar Ha'anim, right? What's the pasuk say? That, I think the pasuk says that when Mashiach will come, they're just going to take Yidden, or I don't know about Mashiach, whatever, there's a pasuk there which some explain when Mashiach will come to go through Midbar, and there's many, many midrashim. There's the famous midrashim that, the midrashim speak about Mashiach ben Yosef. It says that Mashiach ben Yosef will first be very victorious, establish a Jewish independence, and then he'll be killed, and says Yidden will run into the Midbar, and they go, and then they'll run away in the Midbar, and their Mashiach ben David will come in the Midbar. There's many, again, there's a lot of midrashim, also not so much in the Kav HaToiv about the Midbar. It's an interesting thing. Now, but that's the Rebbe mentions that Sfarim say that I'm not sure what the Sfarim are, that the Sfarim explain that the Golos itself that we're in is the Midbar Ha'anim. I think this is the way the Rebbe explained. The Rebbe says, where is it? I forgot where the Sikh is. So the Rebbe,
The minor of Chavir Makshivim, the Kinder Rebbe says the Yidden of Pshat is the Yidden are all over scattered throughout the Golos, and Chavir Makshivim is in Malach HaShalit.
As Chassidus speaks about Yidden when we went through the Midbar, the idea of the elevating Midbar, but yeah. So the Rebbe says that the Indian of the going through the Midbar is not, again, there are interpretations, not speaking about when Mashiach will come, but it's speaking about that the Golos itself is the Midbar Ha'anim. But upon him, there's just another interesting connection between, again, physically I don't, anything could happen, physically I don't understand how it makes sense, Bisman Hazeh, because besides the fact that, we go to Eretz Yisrael, Manane, Shmai, and everything, but again, the way a lot of Midrashim explain is that Yidden will first gather in the Midbar and before they go to Eretz Yisrael. The ikir is that we should have...
Ich habe ihn schon bei Bavel, der Rebbe gerät das Sache. Bavel ist Shem, gekollet mit Bavel, Futzlore, das Golos.
Saying, so Derech Klal, to explain the Midbar, the Golos itself is the Midbar.
The Schlangen von dem Guleiche, die Golos muss man gehen durch jetzt, the Pshat is, the Midbar muss nicht sein, morgen im Schirr kommen, übermorgen, morgen kommen in Midbar, wir gehen mit einem bisschen durchgegangen, genug. Behidur, das ist schon alles, alle Sachen wie jetzt gewinnen. That people saying that.
Yeah. No. I'm just saying that sure. I'm just saying that you have in those madrashim, some places it's a kav. There's a few psukim. Shaya, Cheskel, they can take it in the Midbar, and he'll, I'm gonna be mevared them over there.
I'm schon given a Midbar. Why can't we
you have
sein in the Gula?
But it's The Rebbe actually mentioned this as the Rishim of the Rebbe, about the Rishus Rabim, the Midbar being Rishus Rabim, the Rebbe throws in the land, also love Mechad Gein and Mikvah. Rebbe Stam, it's an interesting concept. Again, it doesn't have to be taken Kipshut, I'm just throwing it in. And I think it is that we should have everything speedily and leave the Chipazon say, but until we get the kids,